The punky QB, he's the punky QB. The best. We are not here to cause no trouble. We just came to do the Super Bowl shuffle. We are back in episode number 9 of the Elevation on Fan Day Nation. Mark Jackson right here, Broncos legend Geoff Gersh, local coach, hero of many. I am Danny Williams.
Yes.
Thanks for being with us. We appreciate you guys. The interaction, the participation. We started to do this as we move forward with different episode numbers, try to associate the episode number with a jersey number of the greatest athlete at that number of all time. And when I think number 9, I think of one of my great uncles.
Really? That's Joe Williams. Uncle Joe Williams.
That's one of my uncles. That's the other side of the family.
Really?
This one was a fighter pilot as well as being the greatest hitter in the history of the National Baseball League. Ted Williams. The splendid Splinter is my number 9. Geoff, you
have a number 9. You know what? I want to hear Mark.
I got to give Mark because he's got a bunch of 9.
No, I got some interesting thoughts on yours.
I got 1-9. Where am I from?
We're Chi-town to the fullest.
Yeah, Chicago. So when you think of Chicago,
It's my kind of town.
and you think of the number 9, you have to think of High Pete Rozelle headband. Jim McMahon.
Wow. The punky QB, he's the punky QB. The best.
We are not here to cause no trouble. We just came to do the Super Bowl shuffle.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one.
Right.
Okay, I like that quite a. That's a great one. Okay,
I'm going to do an impression right now of another.
Of your another number.
Number 9.
So
The guy I'm doing the impression of is not number 9.
Oh.
He's the wide receiver, and he's going, that's my quarterback. That's my teammate.
T.O.
Yeah, that's T.O.
Yeah,
And he's doing number 9 for Tony Romo.
That's pretty good,
right?
Tony
Romo?
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Tony Romo, number 9. Okay,
They play together.
I got the greatest soccer number 9 of all time is Ronaldo.
where did they?
Brazil's finest.
Where did? We all know great soccer players are number 10, so he's eliminated.
No, that's what I mean. But of the number 9s, Ronaldo from Brazil, man.
Hey, the rest,
not bad.
the best of the rest. Drew Brees,
Oh, fuck. I
you
forget that.
Hey, Gordie Howe.
Purdue.
Right.
Is he still playing?
How did we forget Gordon?
Some of bitch is 90 years old playing.
Still playing.
This whole Joe DiMaggio.
Right. Joe.
Hey.
The Yankee Clipper.
Who had Chile with pass. Joe and Joe has left and gone away. Hey. Okay, so how would we leave? Reggie Jackson, Mr. October?
Look at you.
No.
Wow.
Oh, hey, wait a second. Reggie Jackson was number 9.
Yes, as well.
No.
Dwayne Wade. You heard of that guy, right?
Yeah.
Marquette to the
Wade.
fullest, and then
Check out that one.
hey, Bobby Hull. This is a hockey number, bro.
Yeah, that's Chicago.
This is a hockey
Brett's
number.
dad.
Final one. Then we move on.
Yeah.
We start the show.
All right.
You heard of this guy, right? Hey, but bottoms up to this guy.
All right, let's go. I'm down.
No one did it better than number 9, Roger Maris.
Oh, you went way back.
The Raj.
Roger Maris is pretty good.
Anyways,
That's not a 9.
9-time PBR champ Ty Murray. Maybe you've heard of him. And then there's 9-time. Who's the 9-time WWF guy? It was in my head for a second.
9-time?
9-time champ.
Well, I mean, like John Cena just did
Benoit or
16 or
something?
passed up
I was.
Ric Flair for 16 times.
Randy Macho Savage.
No, I don't know.
Let me tell you something, Arsenio.
We've soared with the eagles and we've slithered with the snakes.
I cried many times. There's nothing wrong with the crying. Being a man who cry, I might cry tonight. I've cried more times.
Sorry, anyway, it's a bit that.
Yeah,
Do you know Macho Man Randy Savage was a minor league baseball player?
I did know that. Not.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a sweet. He can hit bombs.
Really?
Reds organization came up.
Wow.
Randy Poffo.
Check this out, Mark. Real quick. This is a little extra.
We're on point.
If you were to be we are on point. If you were a multi-sport athlete, Coach Primus, what was your other sport?
What was my other?
What was your other sport?
Well, up until the 8th grade, 9th grade, it was baseball. Baseball been very, very good to me.
Mark crowded the plate so close the strike zone almost disappeared.
I can hit a fastball, man, but when they start throwing like ninth grade, they start throwing the
A
curve.
little off speed.
This guy named Brian Evans struck me out, and I quit. I just stopped playing baseball because I was like embarrassed.
Reminds me of this time I used to play with the guy Floyd Ragland. Was a great friend of mine, and the guy could get me out.
His niece just got third in the state. She's a sophomore in the 100.
What?
She's like, she's fast.
Shout out to
Raina. Shout out to Raina Ragland.
Okay.
That's Rodney's daughter.
Floyd is a legend, local legend on this wall.
Absolutely. Love Floyd.
International legend. He's crossed over from Colorado to the Chi-Town area. Anyways, okay, let's start the show. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. Things are happening, just playing kind of out right now in the world of sports. I don't just mean we're on the cusp of the start of the NBA Finals, okay? You're thinking Indiana and OKC. Oh, shoot, I might have to go see the new Lilo and Stitch movie.
It's great.
You think it's going to be a snore?
Well, I'm just saying, like, these are two not big-time markets.
Medium markets.
OKC, I mean, it's like people don't even know where it's located on the map.
Where is Oklahoma City?
Show me on the map exactly where it's at here. Is this a little panhandle one? If you took all the states
story of the Panhandle.
Of course we do, Jeff, but why don't you tell the
Colorado
listeners
paid
about it?
extra, right, to make sure they didn't have to touch Texas, so they gave them that. They just
I don't want to touch Texas.
can have it.
It reminds me of the great Charlie Sheen. He said he didn't pay for the sex.
No.
He paid for her to go home afterwards. It's business, my friends.
It's like the shake weight when it gives you some change at the end.
Wait, what?
What?
Anyways, the NBA Finals were on the cusp. Tom Thibodeau. Jeff is a local legendary coach.
I know a thing or two about being fired, too.
Tom who?
Thibodeau.
That's French.
Well, why don't you call him Thomas, then, if you're going to call him Thibodeau? Thomas Thibodeau.
Thibodeau.
Thibs.
That's French.
So check this out. The guy takes the New York Knickerbockers on the greatest run they've had in 30 years.
266 wins, 174 losses.
And what's crazy is, WWE Survivor Series is just around the corner. So when Thibs went into the office of James Dolan, musician, owner, he owns that bubble thing in Vegas. He owns that whole thing there. Vince McMahon was sitting right there too. So Thibs is thinking like, he's going to say, well, man, tough loss. Why don't we have Jalen Brunson, a couple of guys come on Monday Night Raw and do some NFL stuff?
Yeah.
Instead, right?
Yeah.
Instead, McMahon, he tells Thibs.
He looked him straight in the eye.
Thibs, sit down because you're fired. So Thibodeau, the greatest run, he takes these New York Knicks in the greatest run they've had in 30 years and then fires the guy. So I'll tell you this right now. Let's cut through all the riffraff a-holes. That's from The Rock. The movie The Rock. I didn't. Not you guys. That was strong. I'm sorry.
What's the problem?
When you fire a guy 2 weeks, a week after the end of the series, not the day after.
So how's that compare?
Well, that means you have someone lined up.
Oh, you think?
You have someone you've already
The owner said they
talked to.
energy.
Well, how do you talk to guys? Most guys haven't been let go.
So 5 seasons, 4 playoffs.
Okay, so it has to be a guy who's out there. Who's out there.
Who's out there now? Let's go back in our time machine, like 3 days before the end of the season.
Michael Malone, Coach Malone, with ties to New York. His old Mick helped coach the New York Knickerbockers back when Dave Dubush and boys with Phil Jackson and Walt Clyde Frazier was winning him championship. Could it be Michael Malone? Could it be?
Post Malone, dude, go for it.
You serious?
That would be interesting.
Okay, well,
That's a good spot for him to be a Bulldog.
I mean, it'd be cool for him to go to stay in the West would be tough, I think.
well, could he go to the?
It'd be difficult.
Wait, does that sound very high?
It'd be cool for him to go to the
made a hire yet. There's 2 or 3 teams out there who hadn't made hires yet. Michael Malone's in this cycle. If he doesn't get this job, does he get another job? And I have one more candidate for the Knicks too.
Ooh,
Should we save it?
who would that be?
I'm gonna save it. No,
Save it for the other
You're
side.
no.
I'm gonna save it. Let's just do some other stuff.
He's
You want to talk about the Rockies or
Such a
something?
tease.
Hey, boys.
Rockies did get their 10th win, you guys.
They beat us to 10.
They tied the Nuggets, right? Because since the Major League season started, the Nuggets won 10 playoff games and the Rockies won 10 baseball games.
I saw something in the last 2 months or something crazy. Scotty Scheffler has more wins than the Rockies.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 wins he has got on the tour here.
In the month of May, I think it was.
Okay, so the Knicks and the Pacers.
3 for Scotty and 3 for the Rockies.
They're going to kick off Michael Malone because he's a man about town here. Coach Malone, will always have a place in my heart. And we grow fonder as time goes. George Karl's now like a hero again here. He's a great man, all that kind of stuff.
Throwing shade at Malone.
Well, whatever. He's, it's not
Why, though?
He's old, curmudgeon, trying to keep it real. He didn't get a lot of
He's got
love.
that keyboard warrior thing going right
You know
now.
what? That could be it.
Do you want me to lie to you? Do you want me to
I
tell you
wouldn't
the
have
truth?
done that. I mean, I'm a coach, so there's isn't there like a coach's creed, just like there's a bro creed?
I'll tell you something. When the Nuggets were winning an NBA championship 2 years ago, George Karl, who's a great friend, he's a great friend. Geoff could tell you something. He was around the radio studio. You're gonna laugh at this.
Yeah. I remember that.
We did a lot of business together, Coach Karl and I, 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, 12 years ago. Don't make it about me and Coach Karl, but he told me something.
What did he tell you?
I had some gear, paraphernalia, some hoodies he had not seen. Finals gear, white. Those are nice. Where'd you get that?
Oh, Nuggies. Yeah.
Yeah, the Nuggets. I said, Coach, I happen to have 2 of these. I'm going to grab you one of these. Take this. He said, no.
Give this, all of you.
No charge.
I said, Coach, take the hoodie. And he goes, I wish they would have offered me a hoodie, timeout, and seats to the NBA Finals. Hey! Yeah. Long story short, I'm telling you about the hoodie I gave the man. He's telling me the Nuggets, in the midst of winning an NBA championship,
did not
give their head coach, the greatest head coach before Michael Malone, a club seat.
What about the horse?
A 7 rows up.
Nissel. Where's he ranked with Dan Nissel?
The Iron Horse?
The Iron Horse.
He ranks higher than the Iron Horse, right? Carl, I mean, he had the winningest season in the franchise. He had some good things going on with those Carmelo years.
What about Doug Moe?
Doug Moe, didn't he?
But Nissel more than courtside.
What about Doug Moe? Faux show.
Faux show. Forgot.
I mean, you're right, though. They should give George Karl a zoom in on the big screen every game. Why did he not get that?
Guys.
Is it because he's a curmudgeon to the league or to his old organizations?
Guys,
I go with that term.
I get it. My story took 10 minutes, and I'm sorry about that. But the point is, the Nuggets as a franchise and an organization would not give their greatest coach, who was fired by them, a sweet seat. And I don't mean like
or a sweat shirt.
Totally sweet. Pleasures has 4 videos for $20. Lubes, oils, lotions, dongers. Totally rad.
The dongers.
Totally sweet. Anyways, we're back to, I'm just saying, like, so that's the bitterness when you asked 20 minutes ago why George Karl on Twitter is bitter at
that was the hell of an explanation. I totally get it now.
End of story. Circle gets the square.
Do you think you're hosting a 4-hour show at the fan right now?
My bad. I thought you were Mark Slayer.
Trying to do 316s around here.
Okay.
It's Mike Evans.
Watch this. What if the Knicks have already have a contract in place? It's a 4-year deal. It's really a 3-year deal in terms of money to hire one of the 10 or 15 greatest collegiate NBA coaches of all time. Also a guy who coached Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, roster members of the New York Knickerbockers in Jay Wright. You've heard of him, right? Villanova's greatest?
I don't think so.
Oh.
What? Why?
Josh Hart said, did you see his tweet?
Yeah, no.
Well, we saw it, but why don't
you tell the listeners?
Yeah, he tweeted to Thibodeau saying, thank you for all that you did. I mean, I think he really is hurt by that. And I can't do a Nikola Jokic imitation, and I can't do a Josh.
Yes, you can.
Imitation, but my coach, if you lost by, right, I'm sorry.
Listen.
But did Nikola Jokic do like a thank you tweet for his coach?
No one asked it. So we didn't ask the same question.
I don't remember reading.
I don't remember that either.
Brunson or Hart. Like, that's enough for Thibodeau.
No, I'll tell you this.
I mean, Brunson tweeted. He took the time to say, my coach just got let go. Like you said, Brunson did. But did Jokic take the time to say, Coach, I miss you so much, and thank you for
He doesn't do that, though. He's not so.
When they lost that game at the press conference, the Knicks, when they were eliminated, someone asked him, do you believe, are you confident in your coach or whatever? They asked him about Thibs, and he goes, what kind of question is that? You know, blowing smoke. Like,
clown question,
yeah,
bro.
It's a clown question, bro. Give him a Bryce Harper. And he goes, of course I am. Like, he said, to quote unquote, he's taken on a run that this franchise hasn't had in a long time, and we believe in our coach. So this is from higher up above. I'll tell you what, when the Knicks were really bad, we heard a lot about James Dolan, their owner. He was like, had a band and was trying to be like a celebrity.
Like Guitar Charlie.
I got my own damn style. I was just thinking the same thing. But we haven't heard much from that guy in the last 3 or 4 years as the Knicks were kind of ascending here. So this seems a little bit like, do you think it's the right move or the wrong move? Let's just start right there.
So let's pick one, though. Would you rather have Malone with the Knicks or Adelman with the Nuggets?
Wait. Whoa. Time out.
Think about it.
Would I rather? What do you mean?
Who do you think is better off?
Oh, if Coach Malone went,
either team.
So you guys don't believe the Jay Wright stuff?
Jay Wright,
maybe.
I believe the Jay Wright stuff,
but I also made it up. Never coached.
Has he coached the NBA though? You said he coached in the NBA.
No, but back in the day, there was rumors. Rumor has it. Rumor has it.
Could you go get like a Billy Donovan or something?
Who's the greatest?
Shoot. Listen, you're replacing.
I guess there's so many good ones. We did.
Who's better than Thibs? Who's better?
I can't believe they got rid of him.
Me either.
It's got to grind dudes down.
This team is stacked with New York guys. Karl Anthony Towns is a New York guy. This is a New York team as New York has ever had a Knickerbocker type of team. So you got to go get a New York guy. So that's Jay Wright or it's Coach Michael Malone. It's one of two guys. And I'd love for someone else. This just happened.
You think maybe they fired him because Malone was or whoever they hired?
Yes. Mark, if you don't, you're a man of big business. If you don't think a deal is already done with someone else, then you think that the Astros were the only team cheating in baseball. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Dum. You guys are
curveball, Mark.
That's what that was.
You guys are sweethearts. What do you think? You think another guy lined up already, or you think they're opening a search and they're going to say, we're going to get a firm and we're going to, get it. But we're going to interview from high to low the next Knickerbocker coach.
So that's the real question. We'll find out because we'll see if they were Josh Kroenke obviously had the firing Malone. That was already set in stone.
Okay.
He said that the team was going in a direction we didn't want to go. So we had to make that decision.
And that was up in the air. Like the next coach. Adelman, they decided to settle on, right?
Right. Yeah, and I think that's
what
part
about
of
the Knicks?
Trip. I don't think the Knicks run their program that way. But maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I can't look into the minds of men, but whether they have someone set up.
They have a contract in place.
That makes more sense
to Malone.
If they have someone set up, that makes more sense.
I agree.
Then we're going in the wrong direction. He said something to the effect of, our team needed to hear a new voice.
Yeah. Okay, you're a former athlete. When you hear a new voice, people do like
different direction,
culture around, and people want to start blaming locker room stuff and start blaming stars. When it goes, you were close with Dan Reeves, this close, a lot of times. You guys were the best team in the AFC in a weird point in sports in NFL history where the NFC won 13 straight Super Bowls. That would never happen in a modern age or era of sports. So, Mark, if Dan Reeves was fired 1 year before your last Super Bowl appearance, and it was Mike Shanahan then or someone else then, could you guys have maybe won that last Super Bowl that you guys lost before it was turned over and rebuilt?
How can you figure that one out?
I'm asking you to go to the multiverse.
That's a tough
Take me to a different place and time.
I would say yes, much basically because of the stigma. So we got to a place where Dan Reeves had taken the club as far as he could take it. And we would win. I mean, fans love winning. But when it came to the playoffs, everybody was tired. We were in full pads, week of the Super Bowl.
That's exactly like Thibodeau.
And that could be a legitimate reason.
I mean, if you bring in Malone to the New York Knicks, you're bringing in a Thibodeau type guy, but it's like diet Thibodeau. You know what I mean? He's still a bad bulldog, and he's like, we're not going to do this in my way, and I'm old school. But he's not like
my way, the highway.
The whole time. He's not just like Thibs is like, we're going 6 guys, that's it, maybe 7.
It took us 20 minutes, but it only took us one segment where we might have the answer because, Mark, you were a player in that locker room when the going got tough and the tough got going, and you're going through the playoffs, and you're in the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl again. Were you guys kind of wearing it and feeling not just the physical wear and tear, but like this guy's not going to find a way to get us over the hump again?
I don't think a player ever looks at his coaches.
Okay.
You have too much of an ego, and you have too much of this team thing in your brain that it's no one individual, especially in the sport.
Okay.
Of football. But, yeah, we can all look back in hindsight. During that time, you're not thinking about
I love that you said that.
That's hindsight.
Because you went to battle for your coach, and Dan Reeves was a good man.
Oh, absolutely.
He was a great
One of the
man.
winningest coaches in the history of
You know what, Mark? That's beautiful stuff. You said that beautifully because you could have just toasted and roasted Dan Reeves.
No.
Instead, you appreciated all the things kind of he did for you. We appreciate him here. I look as a Denver Broncos fan who's born and raised here. He's like a building block guy. There's no Rod Smith without 80 Mark Jackson. They don't go over the hump without all of the things that you guys did. Dan Reeves did. He laid the groundwork foundation to what I've said a million times on the show. The shows we've did. Yes, crown jewel legacy brand is the Broncos, and they really just kicked off in 77. They were before that, and they didn't have football in the 40s and the 50s like the Bears and the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
So it's the Mark Jacksons of the world who kind of helped create, again, what the Broncos are today. It's just the truth.
Absolutely. I agree with
So how much longer?
I concur.
Hey, how much longer is it going to take for Denver to treat George Karl like they treat Dan Reeves?
Time heals all wounds.
The best thing he's gotten in the last 5 years is a sweatshirt from Danny Williams.
It's a badass hoodie too.
What we got?
It's got the F, the logo. It's sweet. That's rare. If that's on eBay right now, that's probably running about $300 on eBay right now. Rare. Time heals all wounds. We're the Carmelo. We still haven't gotten over the Carmelo stuff.
You don't want him to go in posthumously, do you? Like, not a Rose style thing. Like, why don't we get all his flowers?
I agree with you, Geoff. Like 100%. I think the franchise should take care of their guys.
This one's for George.
Come on, Crocky.
That'd be sweet. That'd be sweet. Okay, check this out. So you're talking about doing things for somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay, Nico Stones is about doing things for somebody else. As a man, your ladies aren't buying guys lots of jewels and jewelry. A man goes to Nico Stones. I'm not saying we don't have lady listeners. We love, ladies. We love them. We love those lady listeners. But the Nico Stones is for graduation is happening right now. I have daughters who I'm tired. Like, I can't buy toys anymore. I got to buy something of value for them. When I get the bracelet, the earrings, when I get the little ring, cute, it's the banger. And my wife demands it. So, Nico Stones, you guys talk about them just for a sec or two, but they've been good to me, and I know they'll be good to you.
NicoStones.com.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I think that is it. Dad's
New website, actually.
Yeah, check it out.
Check them out.
Oh, it's Father's Day, so if you could have any piece of jewelry.
When is it this Sunday?
2 Sundays.
Mark, toe ring,
I have no idea.
ankle bracelet, anything like
I didn't
that?
have thumb ring.
Pinky ring.
You ain't got no ranks.
It's cold.
I think a nice little, a nice watch. Does that count?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want a nice
Do
piece.
you know what? If I had like many of millions, I'd be like a watch collector and be like,
Right.
They're showing me the finest. This one's not out on the floor.
Yeah.
But we just got this one.
Fine.
And they come in, it's just like,
Mr.
Thibs. It's like, look at this. Look.
Are those
You ready for
Roman
this?
numerals?
Mark, take a peek. Get this.
Oh.
That's like Pretty Woman. Remember that? And he clapped. Anyways, I'm Danny Williams, Mark Jackson, Denver Broncos icon. Just shot 20 under par at the celebrity golf tournament. The alumni Denver Broncos golf tournament, which is always fun for
We should
those
talk
guys.
about that for a second. Maybe on the other side.
Yeah, You got to give me 1 or 2 stories from that event. You're always very great on the social media with all that stuff. So if you watch and listen to the show, then you definitely saw Mark at some point or another doing his thing. Geoff Gersh, I am Danny Williams. We'll be back on the other side. Segment number 2, episode number 9 of The Elevation on Fan Day Nation. I am Danny Williams, Mark Jackson, and Geoff Gersh. I love the stuff on the firing of Thibodeau. I like the correlation with the Nuggets tried to tie the whole thing in there.
That's French.
I'll tell you, though, around town, you listen to sports talk radio, you're listening to some podcasts, such as The Elevation on Fan Day Nation.
Yes.
It's swinging towards Broncos, OTAs. I think it's the second mini camp they're having right now. They're in the midst of the second mini camp. Yep.
Coming up.
Okay, so then at that point, you start to look towards the rest of OTA's training camp, and we kind of start there. So there's right now the pro football focuses of the world start to do their rankings, positional rankings, team rankings, and something that's hit me right in the face. Boom! Here comes the boom!
Boom! Boom!
Last year, Pro Football Focus had the Denver Broncos roster as the 32nd roster in the NFL. That's DFL, dead and last.
Oof.
The worst roster in the NFL. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Since then, and the 5.5 wins they were supposed to win last year that turned into being 10 wins.
Exactly.
Where do you guys, because I know you don't know yet, I just brought this to you guys before the show in our prep rehearsal, hours of rehearsal to do what we do.
Yeah,
obviously.
Great rehearsal today, guys.
Great stuff, guys. That's why we're rolling right now.
Good stuff.
Where do you think they rank the Denver Broncos roster, starting with you, Mark Jackson, 32nd last year? Where does Pro Football Focus rank them this year? Go, Mark.
Well, I believe they would have to be being a playoff team.
Okay.
Last year, they'd have to be in the top 10, I would think. Well, actually, was there 5 on each side, 6 on each side?
Oh, no, there's 7
get in.
now. 7. 7 get in, 1 bye.
Okay. So, of those,
I like your rationale. Be a top 14.
yeah, top.
Just how far, how high up?
How many digits? Single digit or double digit?
Hey, talk it out together, Geoff. Talk it out together.
I don't think
this one together.
Yeah, I don't think they got one digit. I think they're going to have 2 digits. I'm going to say 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Why,
something
Geoff?
there. That's
why. I need to hear why.
I don't have them as top 10. Single digit, I don't know. They're still a little young at the QB, running back positions. They're not exactly there. Defensive player of the year, that's nice to have. Their defense is strong.
That's nice to have.
Nice to have.
Yeah.
Sure, but it doesn't just necessarily make you a top 10 roster. Listen, but I think top 14 is a good spot to be. That's in the playoff spot. The more their wins went up, the lower their roster rating got, right? And I mean lower.
Yeah. Geoff, respond to this. You said they're in double digits. I think that's just a feeling you have in their body, like you can't quite yet bring yourself to say the Broncos are a single digit, whether it be 1 through 9.
Why, don't you?
Best team, the Vikings. Skull.
Yeah, he's got purple blood.
Skull. Blood. Purple blood.
Gay blouses.
So are you saying that he's a bit of a hater? Or he's not a hater.
What makes that a hater? Yeah, I'm saying 11, 12, 13, 14.
He's
I just
being
can't
objective.
give him 9 or 8.
He's not subjective.
And I sure as ain't putting him in the Super Bowl just yet. I know there's a couple guys
I'm subjective.
maybe trying to do that.
So,
so what's your final? I need a single digit.
Yeah,
I don't.
My digit is 12. I'm going to say 13.
Mark, where do you have the
I
Broncos?
started at 10, but because you're like badgering us, I'm going to say that Pro Football Focus ranked them 8th.
I should have gone with 9 with episode 9.
8th.
So you have them at 8.
Together, Mark.
Yeah, I would say 8. Let me think. Who's better?
And you have them at, Geoff?
13er.
13.
Yeah, 13er.
Pro Football Focus has lots, for better or for worse. There's people who swear by these guys, and there's some people who roll their eyes at these guys. But the metrics, the positional group,
They're very statistical.
The projections. I mean, they're willing to put it all out there. They got they do a really good job. They're unique. Pro Football Focus, I always got my kind of eye on them. They always bring something up that gets the media stirred up. They have the Denver Broncos as not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. What episode is this?
9.
They have the Broncos as the 9th best roster. The 9th best roster in the National Football.
But what does that mean? Best roster.
Okay, I'll tell you what I think it means real quick. They went from 32, which obviously they were way off, and that was way too low.
Yeah.
So Pro Football Focus, do they have, if it's the Broncos at 9, do they have the Broncos do they have the Broncos a little bit too high at 9? And maybe they are around where Geoff is sitting at 12, 13, 14.
Again, it's based on stats, right? As far as
stats,
is the way they do it.
Probabilities,
like
analytics,
when you add Evan Ingram,
the future.
They add that to your roster. I don't know. Is it
they have a time machine?
Schedule.
They'd have a DeLorean there. Mike Florio goes into the future to look at certain stuff.
The future.
But yeah, so
he gets there and he's like, it's the year 2000. It's the year 2000.
So, listen, Mark, do you think 8 is where you had him, or did you think that Pro Football Focus had him at 8?
I thought that Pro Football Focus. I said 10.
Yes.
And then, with the badgering, I went for 8.
The badgering.
He thinks I'm picking on the Broncos. I'm not picking on the Broncos.
I got that.
If anything, I could have said 19th. I gave.
Why would you say that?
Well, that would be bad.
If you ever say that, you're not on the show anymore.
That would be bad.
Jeff's not on the show.
Get out of here, guys.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
They got to be in the top 14 if they're.
What are you doing here? I didn't know you had my address.
If they're young and ascending like they are, and they're a playoff team, and there's 14 teams, they're in the top 14.
Let's justify it.
Yes.
We justify it
by what?
Defense that added.
There you go.
A Jim Thorpe winner.
Yeah.
Who's Jim Thorpe?
Played lacrosse.
The first Native American to win an Olympic medal.
They said that one of his shoes was all busted up or something. So he got like another size shoe of someone else during the decathlon.
He was a badass.
I don't know.
He was a professional football player, professional baseball player. He played professional basketball. The guy was an absolute beast, and they give it to the top DB in the nation. So they got that award. So you add that guy to an already stealth defense.
Yeah.
Then you go out. Wait a second. That's not enough.
No.
Let's go out and get Talanoa, who's Funga.
The new guy.
Play with Troy Polamalu, the new guy, $45 million contract. They believe in him. This isn't someone that you get on the fluke. This is the real deal Holyfield.
I'm sorry. Who?
Hufanga.
I'm sorry.
Who?
Hufanga.
Say it again.
One more time.
Is he Hawaiian, Simone? What is he?
Yeah, he's Polynesian.
He's got a lot of hair.
Yeah.
Like that sauce at the Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
Polynesian?
That's that Polynesian.
Do they have that?
Yeah, they do.
You never had that red sauce?
They only got 3 real sauces. You've got the Chick-fil-A sauce.
A little too smoky.
You got that barbecue, which is quite spicy to some. And you got that
biscuit.
So, hey.
Taste the biscuit with that honey sauce.
With that poly sauce. Why didn't you say poly sauce?
Damn.
It was right
Good
there.
one. Good one.
Wait a second. I was on the roll, man.
Brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Who else they pick up? They picked up, who's the linebacker?
Drake Greenlaw.
Drake Greenlaw. Right? So they're stockpiling that defense. Why? To make the opponents fear them.
Dude, Drake Greenlaw's
fear.
His previous team would
have strike fear.
Yeah, his team would have had a Super Bowl ring if it wasn't for him getting hurt.
I agree.
Think about that.
Huge loss in that game.
His whole team, every teammate that he ever had on that Niners team would have had a ring, but he got hurt.
Hey, Hufanga is young as hell. They're in a situation where they couldn't continue to pay great players that they were developing who were ascending offensively and defensively. They had to trade Deebo Samuel. They moved on from a couple guys. Greenlaw, for what? 2 guys. Hufanga is young as hell, accomplished, and I love his brand. You know who his mentor is?
Troy.
You've heard of him. Troy
Polamalu.
Yeah.
The hair.
Okay.
The hair guy.
Condition.
No, so that's,
And Drake Greenlaw is a guy who, last thing, and then you take it, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch took an airplane here to the Centennial, right over here, very close, to try to talk Drake Greenlaw out of signing. When he was spending time at Dove Valley, he knew that through his agent, I'm sure, that he was close to signing with the Broncos. They're doing everything to keep him a 49er. That's how important they thought that guy was to the 49ers' future 2, 3, 4 years of competing for a Super Bowl championship.
That's awesome.
We got you.
Those are all statistics. One of the secret sauce, so to speak, the Polynesian sauce.
And that poly.
And you talked about it. You alluded to it earlier. You talked about culture. Culture is built on, like, what type of guy are you bringing in? Are you recruiting, right? So not just their physical attributes, not just their stats from the past, but what's their mindset? What's their mentality? So we talked about, Jim Thorpe Award winner in today, and what's his mentality there? I don't know if you saw one.
Leader,
post-game. Oh, absolutely.
team captain,
Servant.
Yeah.
different kind of makeup. No diss to John Elway. We love John Elway, okay? But John Elway was taking projects, gambles, risks, and almost, character, sometimes, I hate saying this, flawed guys. Once John left the door and George Payton took over, I mean, from right off Jump Street, they're finding a way to take team captains, quality human beings, guys who were built a little bit different. And it's no surprise now in the George Payton, definitely the Sean Payton era, the Broncos have rebuilt their team. We just said Pro Football Focus had him at 32 to now number 9. And do you know what? I think there might be around, Geoff, I'll meet you around 10, 11, 12. But by the end of the season, they'll be bona fide 9 and hopefully around
We'll know
7,
by Thanksgiving.
6 or 7. Yes.
And they're going to need to know by
guys.
after Thanksgiving because that November and December run is 5 out of your 6 division games.
Okay.
We got a bye week 12.
Yep, and then you come back and your final 5 division games are
That's true.
after November 5.
I think that it's weird, man. The whole league tries to catch up with you. I think, to turn the corner here a little bit, I think the Chiefs are going to strive and grind to be a double-digit winner again. I think it's going to start to catch up with them a little bit. Don't forget, in the middle of like the Tom Brady era, they went a gap. They went almost a decade. They went 8 or 9 years between championships before New England could finally find a way to put it all together again. So, the history of the NFL tells us, like Father Time tells us, all these kind of things tell us that there was no 3 straight winners, Super Bowl winners, and that's why the Eagles were able to, we should have saw that coming. It's 60 Super Bowls that had never happened before, so why was it just going to happen then? So I think it's the time the Chiefs kind of decline a little bit. But again, even the Patriots' decline had them winning double digits in tons of games. So is it the Broncos' time? Are the Chiefs done for a little while, Mark?
I think so. I think football is a game, we all know it's a game of momentum, but we think of that momentum as in-game momentum, right? Swings that you hit, turnovers, and different big plays. But it's also a momentum in the season. But then there's a momentum in the franchise history. And I think the Chiefs are actually descending now. I think they've reached their peak. Because if you watch them in the Super Bowl, they just didn't seem to have – Mahomes was scrambling. I thought he was playing his butt off. But, Kelsey wasn't feeling it. There was some animosity. But he's coming back. If he had retired and rode off into the sunset and allowed someone else to come in and be the new highlight and no more Taylor Swift at the games, let's focus on football, gain that energy back with
Chiefs
champions.
would have been better as a whole because of that?
I think so.
If Kelsey would have retired?
Yeah.
That's the best stuff we might have had in a couple shows. The Chiefs might be better off moving forward if Kelsey were to walk off into the sunset, be in the back of music videos, go on world tours, do his own
professional sports franchises,
do his podcast where he now makes more money podcasting as he does a player. Mark, bro, what you just did there with that was hot.
Thank you, Danny. It's wearing up.
Oh, hey, hot in. Oh,
hey,
good gracious. That's his bodacious.
That's my wife's rapper.
Nelly?
My wife loves Nelly.
Oh, no.
He's not a rapper. Okay. Anyways, this is episode number 9 of The Elevation on Fan Day Nation. Love that segment because in the end, it's episode number 9, and the Pro Football Focus of that segment was the Broncos are the 9th ranked roster in the NFL right now based off of those guys who a lot of people swear by. And a lot of people kind of roll their eyes.
Were the Vikings ranked higher or lower?
I don't have that kind of information. I focus only on the Denver Broncos. Maybe if you ask Fan Day Nation's Vikings guys, who we could do a little crosstalk with, we can collaborate with them and check that out. But I'll tell you this right now. You see behind us, everything is just super well organized. Everything is You can't see our whole
in the right space.
You can't see how we have. There's a lot of equipment here. There's 1, 2, 3 cameras. Boom, lights. There's computers. There's synthesizers. There's things going on here. I don't even know how to explain to you technically. We have to put this stuff together. We have to put this stuff away. Mark's got a beautiful place here. This is just like what the studio's looking like. How do you put this together? How have you managed to organize this kind of stuff? This is crazy.
Danny, I'm glad you asked. It's intentional spaces.
So wait, this is intentionally done? This wasn't an accident?
Absolutely. If you have clutter in your garage, basement, or office, if your partner is on your case,
yes,
intentional spaces can help you declutter and organize it fast and judgment-free. Intentional spaces. Go to intentionalspacesdenver.com. Keep the peace in your household. Book your free, so you can get a free consultation.
Okay.
Just go there. Just go there right now. Well, listen to the rest of the podcast so we get right around.
Because we have one more segment, Mark.
Don't go right. Yeah. Right after you
people would be like,
set a reminder.
People would be like, why did the numbers drop such a rapid decline in the final segment? What did you guys do? What did you guys say?
We have a lot of messy
Mark sent them elsewhere.
That's our listening audience. I mean, it's definitely me. And if you're a hoarder, it's okay.
It's okay.
Time out.
I said order.
I walked through order home.
I got piles of newspapers, weird stuff like that.
No joke.
They've seen it all.
Hoarders are known to be more intelligent than the general populace. So being a hoarder isn't a bad thing. But if you want to get that stuff organized,
be a smart hoarder.
intentionalspacesdenver.com.
All right. It's Danny Williams, Mark Jackson, and Geoff Gertz. It's the Elevation on Fan Day Nation. Final segment, episode number 9 of the Elevation on Fan Day Nation. Geoff Gertz down here, Denver Broncos icon Mark Jackson right here. I am Danny Williams. I've loved the show so far. We've got a lot of good stuff in here. In the final segment, we're trying to get 3 different things in here that should be pretty easy because the NBA Finals are on tap here.
Yes.
The NHL Finals are on tap right here. And then for anybody who thought that they were dissatisfied with just the hiring of David Adelman, they wanted someone outside of the organization to come in and it's just going to run it back with basically the same group of coaches. Well, Tom Thibodeau's not the only guy who got fired. The entire Denver Nuggets coaching staff that was Coach Malone's previous coaching staff has been fired. And I don't know if one guy might return under some situation. Contractually, you got to fire all before you bring one back. But David Adelman's bringing in an entirely new coaching staff, his guys, and I love the idea of, not any sabotage from someone who might be left over, but this is going to be, we talked about culture on the show 2 or 3 times. New look, breath of fresh air. Coaches are going to, this guy, instead of standing here, do this. Instead of working when you're pre-gaming and work on this instead. It's going to be a breath of fresh air. It's going to be that breath of fresh air. Mark, tell me what you think about Coach Adelman firing the entire previous staff and will hire his own new staff.
I think hiring this new staff is a good idea. I don't think they were actually fired. I think it was the end of their contract. They just didn't renew the contract.
Okay.
So there's 2 ways to look at it.
Sure.
So
that's a nice way to
if
say
you want to be nice, you can say.
Yeah,
so I don't think Vince McMahon actually showed up down there at Paul Arena. Yeah, not like Thibs got.
Okay.
Fired.
Well, I'll say this.
You still have a contract, but we don't want you. This guy's contract was over, it was kind of poetic justice in that it came at the right time. Now the question is, why did you let these guys go? Because the whole thing that Cronkite was saying is, we love our culture. We have a winning culture. Everything's great. We just didn't, like the way that Malone was taking them. I think one of the problems, not the problem, I think one of the issues is those guys that were the assistant coaches, those were Malone's assistant coaches. Yeah, so there has to be some loyalty. If some guy brought me to be an assistant coach, there's a loyalty to him. But now there's also an unemployment line that you have to choose. Well, am I going to bow down to Adelman, the new king? The king is dead. Long live the king. That's what I just said that. The King is us different one.
When we speak about culture, this is the exact opposite of what the Rockies culture is, right? The Rockies keep everything from the inside. Yeah, this whole Monfort in family thing. I like that. Kroenke's at least willing to step outside the box. He kept one guy in-house, then the rest of them got to go. What about bringing in Thibs, defensive coordinator?
I think he'll get another head coaching job.
All right, if he does, I got first dibs on Thibs.
You got dibs on Thibs?
Has he been an assistant?
Nah, he's not like that.
He's pretty much gotten it.
So he's with the Bulls. Who was he with?
Sat out for a couple.
Timberwolves.
Oh, did he sit out then?
He coached the Timberwolves for a couple years there.
Yep.
With Jimmy Butler.
But he sat out a couple years before he went back to the Knicks.
Yeah, he wouldn't do an assistant in his career.
I know.
Yeah.
He's a TV guy. So you got to kind of sit and wait or, until the brand gets a little.
What about general manager? When are they going to make that decision for the Nuggets?
I think they already have.
Have they announced it?
No.
So they're just waiting.
I think that whoever's in-house that they like.
Oh, shoot. Are we going back in-house? You said that they're not the Rockies.
Okay.
That's pretty.
Okay.
I mean, they are.
I'll start with the truth then. Do you want me to lie to you guys or do you want me to tell you the truth?
You can't.
Josh Kroenke for the foreseeable future is going to be the general manager of this team, Josh Kroenke. I'll tell you this. There is a little bit of word and movement on the street about Tim Connolly. Minnesota, remember A-Rod's trying to buy remember A-Rod's trying to buy the team for a couple years. They got new ownership, maybe a new direction. Maybe they don't like the idea of Gobert, who Connolly gave up 4 picks for all kinds of stuff.
He put like a big interview out yesterday.
Okay, check this out.
Maybe, you can't get rid of me.
Maybe Connolly is not as valuable to the new ownership as he was to the old ownership. And it has already been reported that 3 or 4 teams have inquired about his service.
So what are you saying? Are you saying it's Connolly or is it Kroenke? Because if it's Kroenke,
until it's someone like Connolly.
Or is it Kroenke and then they bring in just some guy from the organization that can say he's a general manager, even though the president of basketball operations.
It's Kroenke and a guy until maybe someone in Connolly's echelon. Totally cute. Don't be. Let's wrap the show up with some predictions. March, the Thunder won 68 regular season games. The Pacers came out of nowhere to show their depth. A coach in Rick Carlisle who has won a championship. There's not lots of those guys active in the NBA. And I heard that Indiana is the home of basketball in the whole wide world. In the whole wide world. So,
Bobby Knight.
Do the Pacers, Mark, stand a chance against these Oklahoma City Thunder? Give me your NBA Finals predictions.
They do not.
Ooh.
You fool!
I know. It's so crazy. I love this show because Geoff and I are always antithesis. We're like the opposite. It's like complementary circles.
We're like not identical twins. We're fraternal twins.
Yes.
Separated at first.
And one
black.
Yeah, I wear black shirts. And he wears
orange.
Right.
No, so let me ask you guys a simple question.
Okay.
What is the prototype now of a championship? What does it look like, a championship NBA team? What's the structure, the molecular structure of a championship NBA team? What do you think?
You got to shoot threes and make layups.
That's
2 All-Stars. You got to have 2 All-Stars.
At least 2 All-Stars.
And you got to have 8 guys bona fide. Your 8th guy has to really be able to play. Your 8th guy has to play.
Oh, gosh. That's exactly where I was going with this.
And both teams have this criteria.
No weak links.
The Thunders just got
the Pacers got 1.
Weak link? What is
Halliburton.
Siakam was the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, because he dropped 30 in 3 games.
38 and 1.
39, 31, 30.
So are you discounting that, or are you?
No, I'm just saying
that
Siakam. He's got the Raptor.
I'm not going to argue against you, Mark. The Thunder are special.
But no, here's the other part. In football, what wins Super Bowls?
Defense.
I wasn't a big OKC fan, but hacking, that's a good defensive strategy. It worked with Jokic. I mean,
can't make
it
free
definitely
throws.
worked with Murray. I mean, they hacked him all the way down the court. They had someone constantly on him. Who's the weak link on the OKC Thunder?
They don't have one. They're deep.
I mean, they got some.
That's it, man. That's the prototype of a great
Thunder don't have one. They get down to Wallace and another Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
They
Hey.
go deep down.
Hey, I was talking to Coach Nick from the South Side.
I think in the end, in the 7-game series, if it's a 3-game series, the Pacers have a chance. But in 7 games, I don't see how the
Interesting. You're right. I like that. They lose in 5 or
you guys
6.
are way off, man.
Okay.
No, wait. Tell me what Coach said.
So you think offense wins?
No, hey, the Indiana Pacers
Prolific.
pick you up full court. They got 2 guys picking you up full court. So if you liked what the Oklahoma City Thunder did to Jamal and Jokic, then you're going to love what Indiana's going to do to
All right.
OKC.
Let's see.
Indiana's up in your shorts from the minute you get that pass. You think Rick Carlisle's dicking around? Rick Carlisle's a real
That's
coach.
the pedigree. Yeah.
Rick Carlisle's won a couple championships.
23 years ago.
Hold on a second. No, hold on. No, TJ McConnell's going to be up in your shorts. Dude, he's their Caruso. These guys, hey, don't sleep on him. Now, here's the deal. Neither of these guys have ever won anything. So it's going to be the first time for one of them or the other. Oklahoma City's never done it. Indiana Pacers never done it. It'll be interesting to see how the home fans handle it when things aren't going their way. It's kind of one of those things. None of them have ever seen this before. None of them have ever done it before.
Yeah.
Okay? And then Indiana gets out and runs. They score points in the paint. Dude, they are nice. And they have a point guard that can flat out
They're
play.
riding a momentum high right
They haven't lost 2 games in a row since like March.
They're
These guys
riding
don't lose
a
2 in a row.
They're riding a momentum high.
Okay, so check this out.
It's the home of basketball, Mark.
The Pacers
Gary,
also have with the Naismiths and the Nebhards and the Obi Toppins and the Netherlands, very unique depth. But Mark said, what happens and how do you win championships in the NFL? Well, that's with defense. How do you win championships in the NBA? It's with star power. It's with star power. And the Thunder have too much of it for the Pacers. The Pacers are going to make this thing a little bit closer in terms of like the game-by-game totals and stuff like that. But the Thunder are 68 wins, second best player in the world, best unknown player in the world, best depth, best 6-man.
Your best unknown player is
Jalen Williams.
Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did play. Yeah, he did play.
Dort's the ultimate. If the Nuggets had a Dort, they'd be in this situation. If they had a Dort.
That's your Bruce.
Yeah.
And it's just too much for the Pacers, whose story I love, and the Carlisle stuff will be an X factor because Geoff said of all these guys on both rosters, who's been there and who hasn't,
Rick Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle has hoisted an improbable championship. Because don't forget that
They took that from LeBron.
Dirk and Jay Kidd and those guys, they stole that one. So that will make this thing interesting. So my prediction, and then you guys do it quick and we'll go to NBA, is the Thunder. It's either Thunder in 5 or Thunder in 6. I think I want to say for like the show's sake and just for the theatrics of it all, Thunder in 6. Thunder in 5 will be too much late game for the Pacers. Thunder win this thing in 5. Mark.
I definitely can't disagree with that. I just feel like, again, the Pacers are riding a high. They're going to go into OKC. That's going to be a big determining factor. Game 1.
Oh, yeah.
As to the energy and what momentum it could take. I don't think that the
they have to still game 1 to win this series.
OKC has shown that they could take a shot in their home court. The Nuggets did it. They were able to come back and still won here in Denver. I don't think the Pacers can do that. The Pacers have been able to jump out on their opponent. Who'd they have? Cleveland? And they jump out 2 games?
Yeah, but look at this orange. This orange looks like Spike Lee courtside at Madison Square Garden. Okay? And guess what? They were down 12 with 80 seconds left.
And,
they
oh,
came
what
back
a
in there.
miracle
You don't think
moment.
they can win in
How many
Oklahoma
miracle
City?
moments? How
They
many
did it in
miracle
Madison Square
moments
Garden
are you
over
expecting in
and
one
over and
season?
over. They beat their ass, Mark.
I love it.
And they're coming, dude. You think the Indiana Pacers are nervous or worried about a team that's never
Jeff
won a ring
does
before?
this, and every now and then he's right.
Yeah.
So it makes me kind of nervous.
Every now and again, you're right too.
Thank you. You need to be like, Siakam's a big boy.
Siakam is, you just said it, 30, 30, and 38. And we're like,
Siakam.
Right. In the other two games, he was 16 and 17.
So what?
That's a big swing,
If the Nuggets
Jeff.
had a second dude that could get
He's
30,
not consistent.
they'd have a ring.
If he was 28, 26, 25, 23,
Watch this.
I would be more excited than 31. He was 39, 30,
You think they just hand out
30.
Eastern Conference MVPs like, hey, here you go. Those 3 30-point games you got.
I love it, but I think he's that star power.
We're talking about
He's got a ring.
we talk about.
He does.
Got more than Oklahoma City.
I love that Raptor team. That was an exciting run.
We're talking about who's been there, smelt it, felt it, tasted it, knows what it feels like and smells like and tastes like,
You
right?
felt it. You dealt it.
Whoever smelt it.
I remember this was probably 6 years ago. Hey, this was 5 or 6 years ago. An improbable Toronto Raptors team that had Kawhi Leonard, an all-time great, hit an unbelievable Eastern Conference winning shot that propelled them to win a championship. Do you know who the second best player, an improbable hero on that team was and in that series? Pascal Siakam.
That's French.
For what?
That's a French name. It's a Cameroonian name.
So
Senegalese.
Is Pascal Siakam like John Smith or Danny Williams in French? Or is Pascal Siakam like, who's the new guy playing Fantastic Four, the guy? Pedro Pascal.
Pedro. What are we talking about? He's playing the smart guy. He's playing Rick or whatever his name is.
I'm going to go with Pacers. I'm going Pacers in 7.
Pacers in 7.
Oh, my God.
I got OKC in 5.
6.
I got OKC in 5. We're running out of time. Let's do our NBA Finals just to set it up. Our NBA Finals. Our NHL Finals. To set that thing up, the Florida Panthers have gone to now, which will be 3 straight NHL Finals. They lost the first one. They won the last one. To be able to align the stars again and propel themselves into this situation again, either setting up a dynasty or last year in what is now a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup. It's a rematch. It's a rematch. It's a reboot, not a rebuild. It's of the Stanley Cup Finals last year. Connor McDavid, the best player in the world, is going up against the best team in the world in the Florida Panthers. So,
second best player.
Will the best player in the whole wide world, Mark, be able to have enough to get? Oh, you're right. Will what Connor McDavid has to offer? Will it be Gretzky-like enough for the Oilers to beat the Panthers, or the Panthers in an ascending dynasty? I'll go last. Mark, you're from Chicago. You're from Chicago, and Geoff, you're from Minnesota. You're supposed to be a hockey guy, so I'll start with you.
Hockey guy.
Well, when you come from Minnesota, we used to call it the state of hockey.
Yes.
And then a couple years ago, what the Avalanche were able to do, Denver Pioneers, Denver East.
Yep.
Colorado was the state of hockey, but there's a new state of hockey, and it's where the Lightning live, and it's where the Panthers prowl. Florida is the current state of hockey, and I wish it wasn't. I'm pulling for Canada.
How could Florida be the current state of hockey? That's amazing.
The Lightning and the Panthers have been in 5 out of the last 6.
I didn't think they had ice.
Oh, I got a great stat for you guys.
My point is, I'm cheering for the Great Northwest. I want Connor McDavid. I want Draisaitl. I want all the old Gretzky fans and all the Messier fans to get to celebrate.
Help me, Geoff.
And my brother's living in Florida. I lived in Florida, but Canada hasn't won a cup in 25 years.
Jeff,
right?
Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup since Patrick was Canadiens in '93.
Yeah.
The Habs, right? Is that right?
They're on the cover of NHL '94.
Okay.
That's correct.
32 years.
A lot of years.
Right?
No, I'm saying 20. So with the Pacers, I think they can and will win. With 30. Edmonton, I want them to win.
I think you're right.
I think they will.
The Florida Panthers don't mean nothing to me. Connor McDavid, it's cool when you see the best player in his sport, like Jokic, win a championship. You know what hockey means to that region, to that country. I think the Florida Panthers win this thing in 6 games, but I think if I had to choose, I'd take the Oilers and whatever money line that is to win this whole thing, Mark.
Hockey
Wrap
Mark?
this bad boy up, hockey
Man,
Mark.
what about last year? Florida goes out 3 games. They win the first 3 games. They're up 3-0.
Yeah.
And then Edmonton wins the next 3 games. Forces a game 7.
Unreal.
Goes
1-1.
1-1 going to the second period with just 3 minutes left in the second period. Ryland, pow!
That's really the
That's
story.
how close it is. I think it's that close
Closer
this
than we
year.
think, huh?
Yeah, I love that, Mark.
Shoot, I'm handing it off to Florida too soon because I really want to
turned me out, Mark.
And
I'm
wouldn't
with
it be
you.
great, though, if Mick Jesus was the one that gave it back to Canada? Not just to Edmonton, but to Canada.
This one's for Mark.
Because our good friends at the school are Maple Leaf fans. And I ask them, are you cheering for, Canada or America? And they're cheering for Canada, obviously, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Whereas, I'm not cheering for Wisconsin, even though I live right next to them.
Yeah, I cheer for. I have one Canadian team, and it's where Patrick Waugh came from because they gave to us the Canadians, the Habs.
Well, think about it. You're Canada. Canada, in Canada, hockey is to Canada as
Is life.
football is to the Americas, to the United
So
States of America.
isn't it a crying shame they hadn't won a Stanley Cup?
That's the only
If
reason
there was any
I would be happy if they won, because it would totally turn out the entire country.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
That'd be sick.
I mean, that's pride.
No, Canada. Let's pull for Canada. On the Fan Day Nation, can we pull for Canada?
I have a Canadian sweater. I will wear it. It's for Team Canada.
We have
Wear it in a-
to wrap this.
Saskatoon.
Let's wrap this bad boy up. And speaking of the elevation as a whole on Fan Day Nation, there's lots of ways to subscribe to the show, subscribe to Fan Day Nation, and lots of facets. Any way you're consuming this.
I got the
Check
TikTok
this out
on my phone now.
Oh, hey, TikTok, you don't
on
stop.
TikTok, yeah.
We knock boots till 6 o'clock as we laid all night long, and early in the morning she sang me this song. Ooh, boy, I love you so. Never gonna let you go. That's Paperboy Diddy.
No,
Other Diddy. Don't get the wrong idea.
Diddy.
That's the other Diddy.
Not that.
Anyways, Mark Jackson, we appreciate you big time, man.
Ditto.
We're going to wrap this thing up here. Once you subscribe to the podcast, the show, hit the likes, hit the subscribes.
We need your
We
help.
want this thing to grow together.
Please.
The next show will be the 10th show.
Share
I
it.
mean, when it's the 100th show, we'll do this. We'll have a celebration together somewhere about town. Yes, absolutely. Mark,
Come on.
as we
99.
go out
Wayne
here-
Gretzky already got our 99.
Look at this. We have 1 minute left. Any last thoughts on the Broncos alumni golf tournament? A shout out to anybody. Tell us about it. We'll wrap this bad boy
annual
up.
Bronco Alumni Golf Tournament happened this past weekend. Every first Monday of the year in June.
Yeah.
We have our
Big
tournament.
event.
Big event. We had, I think, 52 foursomes, fivesomes. So 4 guys get to play with one former Bronco legend. And it was just a good time. We always raise money. 100% of it goes to charities. Billionaires is one of our charitable organizations that we dump a lot of cash into, as well as Denver Street Schools. So we're making a difference, and it just warms my heart. We had a lot of fun. A lot of alumni came in. Sean Moore, Heisman Trophy candidate, former Denver Bronco quarterback. Just seeing his face. Reggie Johnson, some guys that,
Love that.
you know, flashes from the past.
Dude,
Tom
I love
Jackson
that.
comes back every now and then. He didn't come this year. I
I
wish he had
love
come.
that stuff, Mark. We will be out there.
Did you guys golf
We
balls?
should have been
How'd it
out
go?
there this
Oh,
year.
man, I was hitting them straight.
Mark, you're
Straightest
sweet.
you've been in years.
Shout out to the Broncos for that stuff, from Pat Bowlen to like the Joe Ellis era to now the best ownership and the richest ownership
Johnny
in all of the
Bowlen.
world professional sports.
Keep that elbow
Shout out to
straight.
Walton Penner Group. Mark, you're looking like
Get
a real
elbow
golf-
straight.
Yep.
Sorry.
Look,
Oh,
you're good.
straight.
You look like a real golfer. I got it right here. Shambo got me here. Look at, I'm freaking tired, and I turn, and I'm ready. I'm keeping it in. For Danny Williams, I'm Danny Williams.
Good job today.
For Geoff Gersh, right there. For Mark Jackson, Denver Broncos icon. He's a legend. Legend might be strong.
I'm Mark. He's Jeff.
Hero. We appreciate you guys.
God.
Like, subscribe, all the stuff, and we love you guys. Good night, Sheila.
Good night.
We'll never forget today.